Hey, thanks for checking out my latest video. Please subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoy my content or if you would like to see more of it. It helps to get seen out there. I do videos on a wide variety of topics. Got a pretty broad range of knowledge on a lot of subjects. Sometimes it's not that thick, but I just want to talk real quick about royalties with music and TV. We you hear the word and you hear it a lot, but a lot of times people they keep it private because they don't want people to know how much they make or how much they're making. But this site Royalty Exchange, as far as I know, which is 100% legitimate, but I've never used it to make a transaction. But they auction off a lot of music publishing rights and recording composition rights, which is actually this audio recording, which is where the bigger money is with streaming. Um, and They've done these like private syndicates for Cage the Elephant, which is like an incredibly underrated rock band. If you haven't followed them much or seen them, they're fantastic. They did Dire Straits and they did Eminem, syndicate size undisclosed. Then they do auctions regularly, right? But the vast majority of what they do is music. Um, but I really wanted to talk about TV because you don't really hear you don't really hear specifics on what various parties get from residuals. Um, and it's all very complicated. So obviously, do your research and look into things. But in this case, it's director residuals from TV, episodic TV. Okay, and this was an auction they did, I think, in 2021. So what this is perpetual rights you receive from the Directors Guild of America residuals. It went for $506,000. So you get these TV royalties from 300 episodes of shows. I assume all by the same director. That's why they're getting the Directors Guild payouts, but not 100% certain of that. So the shows include like X-Files, Supernatural, Charlie's Angels, 21 Jump Street, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Baywatch. Also an upcoming show which was called CW Supernatural, which I just looked up. I'm sorry. Um, the upcoming one was, well, no, that was a different one. I apologize for that. There wasn't an upcoming show. But so here's a list of all the shows. So it's not every Baywatch. It's like 2 episodes of Baywatch, a bunch of episodes of the original 21 Jump Street, a whole bunch of episodes of I believe, the original Charlie's Angels, the Commish, 3 episodes, Hardcastle, McCormick, Hunter. Some of you older folks will remember some of these. I think that was a new Mission Impossible. Not sure. Simon and Simon. Just 1 episode of Star Trek: Next Generation, even though they were using that as and Supernatural, and then the X-Files, a whole bunch of X-Files. So how did this pay out? Like, why did somebody pay 500? So here's the auction history. Okay, this was in 2021. There were all these bids. There ended up being 57 bids. They have approved bidders. It's a thing. So you get to actually see it here, what somebody paid, because they may not resell this, so you don't really know what it's worth, and you don't know what it's done since then. Um, Basically, they say that here's how much it paid out over the last 3 years. But they make a big point in this that the Directors Guild payouts are sporadic. They're not like set intervals. It depends on how much it airs and how much royalties it's generating from TV, cable, and free TV payouts, and how that business is changing with streaming. That's another thing you have to be aware of. But you can see, like, it had a big spike there in 1 month. It paid out 36,000, but then they break it down into like the past 12 months from May 2020 to May 2021. It generated $68,000. They say that, and then they break it down. You can see like last 12 months, pay television, foreign free television. They love Baywatch, basic cable, download to rent, foreign levies, other. Royalty by series all time or last 12 months, X-Files, Supernatural, vast majority, because that's where most of the episodes were. As you can see that there. Um, And let's see here. So they say because the assets are paid when the studios issue residuals to the Directors Guild, they're not issued on a regular set schedule, but on an as it happens basis, which creates an irregular fluctuating distribution schedule. Because a lot of the way they package and sell these on here is like almost like a annuity. Like you're going to buy these song rights for the next, you own it for the next 20 years, and it's expected you're going to make 8% on your money type of thing. But there can be big fluctuations, and it's surprising what some songs have gone for more than others, and some artists, what they're generating, at least what the royalties are selling on here, which might just be like a producer's royalty or something like that. But it's great to see the information laid out and to see what actually people paid for it. And there's a few TV ones on here, but I just want to go over this. So X-Files earned 47% in the last 12 months. Pay TV earned 28%, followed by foreign free TV. Many episodes were released in the 1990s and early 2000s, some dating back to the 80s. They generate from cable TV, on-demand, DVD, VHS sales. So basically, though, they're saying over the last 5 years, it has averaged $64,000 a year. The highest year, $73,000. So this person paid $500,000 for this, just a little over that. What they are banking on, obviously, is that they're going to make that back. Let's say it does continue at 60,000, they would make that back in like 8-9 years, and all the rest is profit. But they had to put down $500,000 up front. And that they're not owning. I don't think they're owning anything to do with like if they make another X-Files reboot or a movie or another Baywatch. I don't think it's just the actual episodes when they air. And in this particular case, I'm not the person plunking down that money. And a lot of people did bid on it, but those particular shows to me don't seem to be gaining popularity as like cult classics. I know X-Files, Supernatural, I'm not that aware of. Maybe that one is. But I rewatched the X-Files movie not that long ago, and it really wasn't that great. But so it's pretty fascinating. So what I think happened here, what I think this likely is the director of these likely was all one person, and this is they're getting 60, 50, 60, 70 grand a year from this. And maybe they were getting older and they said, I just want to cash out, or I want to use the money for something, or I want to give it to my kids or whatever. So they just sold all their residuals going forward and the royalties and they got 500 grand out of it, but they get nothing at this point. So that's an interesting one on here that I was looking into. They're talking about, these are cult shows, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about Supernatural. Maybe that's why people bought it, really, more than the X-Files. But it's funny because they use the billing of Star Trek Next Generation and even Baywatch, but on the episode list, it's a whole bunch of X-Files, several Supernatural, and a whole bunch of Charlie's Angels, which apparently that's not not having another heyday, even though that is a really, really, really iconic 1970s show. Extremely iconic. And then 21 Jump Street. All right, so that's just a quick look at an example where a whole bunch of these TV episodes, what the Directors Guild, how much they're making, just the director on residuals payouts. And of course, I assume these directors' residual fees can be negotiated and whatnot in advance, and they probably are, and all this can vary. But in this example, this person or this catalog was totaling about 50 to 70 grand a year as of 2021 every year. That's why sometimes these are almost like annuities, the way they are packaged and sold. So somebody paid 500,000. Now, if it plummets to 20,000 immediately, then it would take them 25 years to get their money back. But I think they probably are calculating, okay, this is going to be 50 grand or higher, 40 grand, for the next 8-10 years. And then it's all profit after that. So that's the thing about cashing out something fully is you miss the long term, but sometimes the short term is worth it. But you always have to think about that. It's like a lottery lump sum payout. But selling distribution rights, people do that out in the future, or internet rights and things like that, and they've lost so much money. Or global soccer teams will sell part of their broadcasting rights. for cash now, they miss out on the gigantic next broadcasting deal that comes along. But this is a more individual case of a director's residuals, which I found pretty interesting. That's a nice, almost, if you want to say, that could have, that maybe almost, that person could have looked at it as sort of like their pension. I mean, I think the Directors Guild probably has a pension on its own, but they they were like, well, I'm getting this money coming. That's nice. And in particular, the song ones are crazy. Some songs, 50, 100 grand plus a year for one song. And I'm not talking about like the biggest songs ever written. You can just count that as like a nice steady income every year. Anyway, depending on the song and the niche and the era. All right, thanks for checking out my video. Again, please subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll be hitting up with more videos as I feel like it. Thanks, have a good one.